Hello, this is Patty Q coming to you through Soul and Synergy with Terry Flick and Danny Loosemore's wonderful, beautiful business here. And today's recording is on death. One would think that when you start talking about death that it just is like an uncomfortable reality. But I really am here to discuss with you what death means. Being a psychic healer, I'm having to discuss many levels through spirit to engage in a person's wellness path. So if I were to read an individual that is not well, I know that, I feel it. So the only thing that you can do is to help them pass well. And the promises made through the angelic realms that I work with are very much a part of how that person passes well. Then why would I have to be involved? I want to discuss with you the promises kept when someone has to leave this life. And we're going to start with birth. So while spirit involves beings that contribute to our next life, they also include in it how we leave. And that promise made was, you will die on this date. How you get there is a decision that life must choose. So let me just start by saying that death should be called birth. When you leave, you share everything through the psychic eye with angelic being, with spiritual wellness contributors, and the path of truth, honor, and the right to pass well. When you're in life, you move with your end date, always. It's a parallel. It speaks with you, you understand what it says, you know when you're going to leave and how you're going to leave. The end might not be our perfection mode of choice, but we choose how we leave based on what we've already experienced in past lives lived. What that means is that all the lives that have lived through this soulful person combine what they've experienced through the living life and contribute to how this person will pass. It says, and it speaks to, we've already done that. Let's choose something quicker. Let's choose something unaware of. And let's just try something more of an angle of experiencing a death in a way that brings people you love together. The type of exit that we choose is mirrored. So while we live parallel with our end, a mirrored image is that place where it protects us with things that we can't handle at the moment. So in the mirrored image, you have discussions of prior lives that integrate with its purity a very purposeful and meaningful end. When you see something that is close to your end, you know it in your core that I have to start shaping and getting used to the idea that I'm going to be leaving this life soon. And you are put in a situation where you start thinking of memories that you want to hold on to. You want to be with certain people till the day you leave. You want to hear an angelic voice before you go, more than what is naturally given. You may want to integrate other people to leave with you on the same day. So all these things are choreographed, and it is very timely. It speaks to that date. why then do we have to discuss this today? Well, I wanted to make sure that people understood that death is like a moving target. So no matter where in life you are, no matter what you're doing, you will leave on that date. No matter how you try to prevent it from occurring, no matter what you promise yourself, I will not, you cannot get past that end date. In a lifetime, there are scary things, there are frightful things. Never will there be a nightmare that shows you how you leave. It just doesn't occur. Angelic promises show us that how we leave is based on our own satisfaction and how we participated in discussing how we want to leave through our mind's eye. You may not believe that a person would ever want or ask to leave a certain way. You would never believe that, why would I choose such an excruciatingly painful exit? And why would I want a choice? And in reality, you have to remember that everything we do in this life is by our choice. Before we enter into birth, we've already decided things in this life that we would encourage our soulful existence, would promote our wellness, would give us happiness, sadness, ill will, all emotions you can possibly think of. And oh, by the way, yes, it already has chosen how you will leave so that it can be accommodated by the end date, because you can live a very happy life and then die in that same breath of happiness. There's never ever an encouragement through an angelic being to say, you don't have to die today, that's fine, we'll just do it another day. You're tied by a thread of information that has been entered in through your psychic eye. It has remained there from before day one, and it holds you, and it holds that statement of promise that this will be how you live your life, and this will be how you leave this life to then live again. So then let's just touch base on that live again part. So upon the sight of death within your psychic mind's eye, you realize that you are at a point of, I feel it really more than I felt it before. Your intuition grabs onto the information that has already been experienced through you and your angelic guide, and that information will travel with you after you leave this life. All the things that you've were made aware of in this life that you hadn't experienced in a prior life, all the things that you want to make sure you do not forget, because when you live again, you want that more. Or you choose not to bring things with you because that's not what I asked for. I do not want to experience that again. And so all of these conversations you've been having since before you were born, and through an angelic existence, they purely are made aware of how you leave. So they don't necessarily promote how you leave, other than your choices to endure that day or to connect you to that day. That therein lies the thread of information. So it never leaves you. It doesn't curve away from you. It doesn't say, well, let's talk about it. Maybe we can make up our mind at another date. It's very set. It's very correct. The only way that death date can change is through an angelic light that promotes you to more life. Should you be approved through angelic links that there is something more in this life you have to experience, so you are given an opportunity to experience. And in that, then there is a new death date. The beings that cooperate with us as we live show us that you are enabling yourself to live longer, so that by choice you're experiencing something that you want more of in a way that embodies, yes, angelic beings will be with you to not experience the first death date, but give you your permissive acknowledgement to leave on the new death date. So respecting how you get there is done through the highest level of beings known to exist. These levels maintain our thoughtful patterns. It shows us that we are better than we thought we were. And oh, by the way, yeah, I get to live longer. Consciously, do you say that out loud to anyone? No. It is placed in a place within your mind's eye that includes what it took to get to that point. And it stays as it always has stayed, living parallel to you and through you, so that when the new death date arrives, you are participating as you had intended. While you're participating in preparing this life to end, you are made aware that I am dying today. And then what happens is the room opens up. The one that you love the most reaches out with their hand to then grab yours, and through love and light of angelic beings, caress that moment so your soul is taken from the body shell to then experience all the things that have already been agreed upon to take with you as you leave. There are no mistakes, there are no mishaps, there's no jumbling at the last minute. Everything is set for that death date, so you experience a smooth exit. Everyone has a way to get to that exit date. Some are less gruesome, some are enduring pain for a long period of time. However it is that you get and reach to that end date, everyone fluidly leaves as it was intended. There's nothing exaggerated by this statement. There's nothing that overpowers anything else. It just is. The room is filled with joy. Loved ones that are with get to experience the lift, the feeling of a soulful lift, and that soulful existence then separates from the etheric body, and that separation is felt. So anyone in that room knows how that felt and will never, more than likely, forget about how that felt. That person is then with an angelic presence where everything is gathered for a proper exit of wellness. And the person that leaves in that death state can view that room from their vantage point and see their loved ones celebrating, crying, celebrating. I always look at it as a celebration because it's a beginning. It is a new beginning, and you should celebrate how that feels. Your loved ones should see you that you are better already. So if anyone in that room is psychic or can feel more than the other, that person will know exactly what is said through an angelic interpreter. The person who has passed cannot speak, but through angel, they are allowed to view the room and to send any last message. I'm fine. I will see you. I will see you. Then everything is combined at a leveling that is right and above everyone's natural senses, that person then is incorporated into the smoothness through an angelic being, and everything leaves together. So while a person leaves their body, it's not considered death, but when the person leaves the room through the angelic exit is death. So the moment in which that person can view the room is not considered death through an angelic being at that point. There is still breath, or there's still a sign of life. But as soon as everything is incorporated and fluidly flows from that room, that is death. Now, when I say celebration, I do say celebrate. Life is all about every phase we experience, and even death. So it should be a symbolic day for you never to forget, and for your family or anyone who is sharing that experience still alive should also understand that that was the best thing for that person who left. And they do celebrate in their own mind's eye that that went pretty well. No matter how you got there, that went pretty well. So never ever will anyone experience anything else. But speaking to the exit is exactly what has been experienced through every life lived. So the experience of that person leaving has mirrored itself through every life and will continue to mirror itself through the next and next. This is a choreographed experience that shines bright. It doesn't lose itself. It doesn't jumble with anything else. It is so pure in its form that you are made to see your brand new life before you leave that room. So think about that. It still isn't death, but while your loved one views the room in celebration, they are also made aware of how they live again, because it has already been decided. When before death, we have this time frame. And in that time frame, these things are noted. These things are choreographed. It is designed, it's symboled, and it's made. Even before you're ill. So there's this time frame that's set of many things to happen. And that one thing about deciding how you are leaving and what kind of life you will live again is very well made clear. Never will you be told that you had an exit that was done poorly. It's not possible. Never will they be anywhere else but with your exit. Angelic passage is exactly what this is. Angel treats us with beauty and clarity. It doesn't determine what kind of life we led up to that point. It just gives the capacity to know that you did pretty good. Next time will be better, and on and on. So Death March is very much a death birth, and that is made clear way before you leave. When there is a body that is full of disease, or there's a lot of pain, the way you get to the point of exit is the same for everyone. So how you get to that passage is set in stone through you and through angelic beings. And then when you decide, and alongside with angel, how you leave and the way in which you leave is already predetermined. The piece that I always question is, why would anyone want to live with such pain before they leave? And as harsh as it is, and as crazy as it sounds, it's already been decided in that life's choice. Before you were born, you already included yourself on the prior lives lived, the information that you have not yet experienced, to then be a part of something that you still need to experience as much of life as possible. When a person leaves this life, you're quickly assimilated through paths of spiritual wellness and the belief systems that you already have as a spiritual dweller. As soon as you leave, you're put to work as a continuance of what you've already done. You're never separate from what you've learned. You're never above what you still need to learn. You're always with the exact tempo and pace that has been set for you. You earn your right to want more by exceeding what your prior life was when you lived it. When you exact, you are at a level. When you exceed, you are above expectations, and you get to bring with that next life things that you have exceeded and live better with. When a person asks to be part of a spiritual journey while you live, it means that you are helping yourself live as a higher spiritual dweller after you pass. I know for me that I work for that, I realize it, and so the things that I understand, I want to help people understand so that they too can raise your situation and live as a higher spiritual being after you pass. There's no break in time. There's no disconnect. You are tithed through every life lived, through every death, through every spiritual experience, and every time as a spiritual being, you do raise your own level of awareness to be the best spiritual guide, advisor, or a social spirit, or a spirit that comes for children's imaginations, for spirits who equal and match how a person who is alive needs for guidance, for a quick bit of information to feel good about something. A spiritual advisor is a higher rank, of course, but yet a spirit guide is as tall as you can grow. And there are limitations. When you are of an angelic being, you have to combine all the experiences to never live again, but to be an angelic, compassionate, brilliant part of someone's life. As an angel, there are different things that are involved, but to grow through spiritual wellness, whether we're alive or have passed, matters in which what we choose through every part of living, through every part of spirituality. I consider it a continuation of life. So no matter what side you're on, or living at present with breath, or being a spiritual being to help those alive, is still life. They connect with us, they guide us, they share with us, they help us focus, they keep us from misunderstanding to an extent of fear. They keep us motivated, they keep us happier, and when you sign on for the whole thing, you are made aware of who the spiritual beings are that are with you. You are made aware of what trouble it took for them to still stand with you. You are given a thoughtful process. I call it an existing thread that pulses and bounces, and it makes you excited and it makes you want more of. All these things are a part of living. So I see it as a match of life instead of a match of death. I see it as an exciting way to bounce through spiritual existence, to lay a hand of comfort for those that are alive, to give them pause or cause to ask for more, to take a breath and be guided through a troubled spot, to ask for something that is made with clarity and will stay with clarity. You ask for symbols and signs through angelic beings, spiritual guides, advisors, dwellers, gatekeepers, you name it. They have all a certain thing that they match with the living to bring freely information that cause us to live well. There is nothing that is by mistake. There's nothing that will disarm you. In the connection of things you experience, you already see it coming. You already know that your going to experience an event that has been mapped for you. Death is not an end, it's a continuance. So the things that are of beings that live are the things that are of beings of death. So they really never leave us. When we are a spiritual being, you're with that same group of spirits to help coordinate with one another the means to live again. So it's a lesson in every breath we take, or in every motive we are, or any clarity that we see is supposed to occur. This lies with a lot of mismanaged information, sure, by the awareness of people who are not seeing it clearly, may have a completely different take on this conversation. I am experienced through angelic beings to be a person who can speak to the things that are true, and I have earned the right to do so. When a person's mind's eye is fixed on one thing of anger or destruction, you get an angry and a destructive exit. But there again, once released, the same thing you've always experienced. Never believe that it doesn't matter how you live, you're going to die well. When I say die well, I'm talking about the moments leading up to. Are you pain-free? Are you well without pain? Is it deliberately quick? Have you been lingering with? And all these things matter. For experience, yes. You do have a say if you do not want to experience such depths as you leave. And you can switch it up if you go through an angelic being. It's like I say, above my pay grade. But if a person wants to experience a different kind of exit on that same day, that is discussed and approved if it is deemed right. Why do I go on about this? When people live, they live well or poorly, it doesn't matter. But death actually has a way of lifting our spirits higher. There's a cord that's attached to it that pulses light because it's a direct connection through angelic beings. So if you think about this, before you leave in this life, you are afforded the same sort of high living experiences that everyone can ask for and is a part of your exit because you asked for it, and that's a good thing. So no matter what side you're on, you must always aspire to a higher call, whether it's through the love you experienced, the anger you experienced, the communities you lived with, the family that's loved you or not loved you. All these things matter only in the experiences you've signed up for, but that death march is very clear, and it focuses your mind's eye on that exit. There's nothing better than to leave to live again. I choose to live with the good things, and I know that every time I've passed, I'm excited to live again because I say, I want to do that again. And I know that, I've heard it. So while you open your mind's eye to all of its possibilities, you can examine how you have assimilated your journey through things that you've really loved. So honor who you are, because attacking who you are is really a waste of time. Fluid movement with who you are and how you end is a clear, beautiful, bright light. When a hand reaches out from someone that you have loved, that is a connection through an angelic being that is with, through a room full of community people that are waiting to see you, past friends who have gone, family who have gone, everyone that you trust will be there to see you, is already happening. Your hand is reached out to touch that one person. It pulls your soul through the beauty of angel. And it's a really good feeling to be a part of your planned exit. I don't believe that that I am the only person that can speak to this. I know that there are other people with levels of the same experiences that could do this recording, absolutely. But when you sit back and you think or wonder about something, how cool is it that you can just go to a recording that is made specifically for death, and there's no confusion, or if there is, sit with that confusion with your own self and allow angelic beings and spirit guides to be a part of the answer, because that's why they're there. They are with you to help guide you through your questions, and they want to remind you of your experiences that you're going to be a part of in your future. So allow, begin, rejoice, celebrate, be a part of, and know that there isn't fear, there isn't question or doubt, there is just normalcy. So it is part of who you already are. So don't think about it as much as you might need to or think you need to, because you can't put any more energy into it, because it won't matter. How you leave is what has already been decided. So happy life, happy death, happy life, happy exit, celebrations all around. And be with it, because it matters, and we're part of a big cycle that never stops. So rejoice in who you are today, because when you look back, you'll love that moment as well, and keep it for the next life. So here's to everyone's exit, and be gracious for the beautiful light that helps us do it. Love and light. Thank you very much. Bye.